Hello and welcome to Hail Trace's Hail Forecast. This is Derek Klein, and today we're going to be talking about the hail forecast for areas of the northern plains and then stretching across parts of the Midwest for tomorrow. So again, forecasting a pretty significant severe weather, typically hail, or at least that's what we're going to be focusing on today with our forecast. So again, today across parts of the northern plains, forecasting a pretty large area with at least a chance of hail that stretches all the way from parts of Wyoming through a good portion of South Dakota, Nebraska, possibly stretching down along the dry line down into northern Kansas. And as the complex of storms that develops over Wyoming will stretch across southern South Dakota, northern Nebraska, and it will actually move due east, basically right across the border and even head over into Minnesota and northern Iowa as we head into late tonight and tomorrow morning. Now, the hail sizes, again, here we have a pretty large area where we expect at least quarter-size hail, possibly a few golf balls in the yellow area for this afternoon and tonight. Most of this stuff, again, is going to fire quite a bit up in Wyoming around 4, 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon and this evening, and then it'll move in towards Rapid City towards right around sunset and then move east from there overnight. A few very isolated storms may develop across parts of northern Kansas and central western Nebraska. So we'll watch that. Those shouldn't last long. As soon as the sun sets, those will actually die out. But those will be possible over the next hour or two across portions of Nebraska and Kansas. As far as hail size, we've got a pretty significant area where we expect hail up over golf ball size will be a potential. Especially for areas along Rapid City, possibly as far east as Mitchell, South Dakota. And then we've highlighted a second area where we expect hail to the size of tennis balls or even larger will be possible across portions of Rapid City. So this area could see some fairly significant hail. And then as this complex of thunderstorms develops over South Dakota, it'll move east and will transition more into a wind threat for the storms across the eastern part of South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska. So the hail threat will begin to wane and we'll begin to watch more of a wind threat with a pretty significant complex of storms that will develop across this region. The chances of hail, though, again, Sioux Falls will do about a 10% chance. Sioux City will do about a 10% chance. That'll be very late tonight. Same thing for Mitchell, a little bit higher chance, around a 20% chance at receiving some severe hail around Mitchell. And we'll do a 10% down in North Platte, fairly isolated across this area, so not expecting a lot. And Rapid City with the highest chance today, around a 35% chance at receiving some severe hail. So quarter size or larger, possible across Rapid City. Again, 35% chance. Hail will be, again, like we talked about earlier, up to the size of baseballs in the more significant storms. So not everybody is going to receive baseball-size hail, but there definitely could be some baseball-size hail across the region, especially in the area highlighted in purple on our map. So let's dive into tomorrow. So again, another fairly large area. Notice we've zoomed the map out, but anywhere from southeastern Minnesota across eastern Iowa all the way through a large portion of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, southern Michigan, and southern Wisconsin, we are forecasting at least the opportunity for severe hail tomorrow. This area, again, is going to be an extension of the complex of storms that develops tonight and moves east. But as it moves east in the daytime, we begin to heat up and make the atmosphere very unstable, especially across parts of Illinois and Indiana and eastern Iowa. We expect the potential for growing hail to develop across this area tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Now, we forecasted an area where we think that the chance is just a little bit higher. This does include Chicago, Peoria, Springfield, Indianapolis, Davenport, Rockford. So a pretty large area of population with at least the possibility of receiving some of the larger hail tomorrow. Now, we're going to know a lot more about this tomorrow as we see how this complex evolves overnight. But again, the potential for significant hail, even up to the size of baseballs, will be possible across areas near Peoria and really across the central part of Illinois, just to the south of Chicago. But Chicago, you're definitely not out of the woods on this one. The potential for very large hail will be possible. So the chance for hail, though, in any one location as we head from the From the east to the west, 10% chance of hail around Akron, 10% chance of hail towards Detroit, 20% chance of hail in Columbus, 25% chance of hail in Fort Wayne. In this region, I expect the wind threat to be a little bit higher. However, if storms can stay somewhat isolated in that line, then that hail threat may grow a little bit. So we've left it at around 20 to 25% chance across this area from Columbus to Fort Wayne for that potential. And we'll do a 20% chance down towards Cincinnati. 10% chance up towards Grand Rapids. Most of the stuff should be to the south of that region. 10% chance towards Rochester. Again, those storms will develop, but I think that they may actually pass the area as they really begin to intensify to your south and east in Rochester. 25% chance at Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Again, storms should develop right over your area, or at least really begin to intensify and move off to the east. And we'll do a 20% chance towards Madison, Wisconsin, 30% chance in Chicago. This is variable depending upon where this boundary is going to lay tomorrow afternoon, this warm front across the region. So if that moves to the north of Chicago, then the hail threat, again, could extend up into Chicago and be a little bit higher than what we are currently forecasting. We'll do a 30% chance down towards Springfield, Illinois, a 30% chance over towards Indianapolis, and the hot spot for tomorrow looks like Peoria, Illinois, around a 40% chance at receiving some significant hail, some of that, again, quarter to possibly as large as baseballs with some of the stronger storms. So that is our forecast for tomorrow. Again, very large hail will be possible today and tomorrow, and we'll be monitoring that threat. We'll be sending out text alerts for all the populated areas for everybody that subscribes to that service with us, and we'll have your hail maps online as soon as we're able to get those up and running, typically within an hour or so after the storms develop. Those maps online. So again, if you have any questions or anything that we can do for you or your company, please make sure to give us a call, 855-334-4245, or that's 4334-HAIL.